Big buzz coming out of Chapel Hill, North Carolina, where UNC has reportedly interviewed none other than Bill Belichick for their vacant head coaching position. Belichick hasn't coached at the collegiate level, and at 72 years of age, he's just a year younger than Mac Brown, the winningest coach in program history, who was just shuffled out the door. But this is Bill Belichick, 8-time Super Bowl champ. That's some pretty big news, and it's such big news, in fact, that we've got to talk about here on the HQ. We got Will Brinson here, and this after you already wrote something about this on CBSSports.com. Will, I read what you wrote. I sense that you're not putting any money on the best NFL coach ever ending up in Carolina blue. Why so skeptical?
Well, I mean, a couple of reasons, Russ. One, like, I live in North Carolina, and you can see it over my my left shoulder. I'm an NC State fan, but like this is purely objective. I don't want Bill Belichick at Chapel Hill. The idea of the greatest coach of all time coaching my team's arch rival is terrifying. However, like I can't fathom a world where Carolina runs off a two-time best coach in the history of their program, 73-year-old Mac Brown, is like, you know what we need to do is get 8 months younger. I also can't fathom a world where Bill Belichick looks at his place in the NFL hierarchy or the pantheon of coaches and says, and it's obvious, everyone knows it. He's been chasing Don Shula's record for most wins ever and wants to put himself far enough where Andy Reid can't catch him. Andy Reid at 269, Belichick at 302. Like Reid's well within striking distance. If Belichick wants to catch Shula, he needs to be good. If he goes to Carolina and coaches for 2 or 3 years, the window is basically shut for the NFL. Additionally, this is the same dude who once said, "I'm not on Snapface," because he doesn't do social media. And look, now granted, he is dating a girl who's like 24, so maybe he can recruit college-age talent. But I mean, like, I just don't know that this guy's going to want to deal with NIL and the transfer portal. He had the ability to lock in rosters with the Patriots, and now all of a sudden he's going to have kids who are deciding to leave after 1 year. I think it would be obvious. We've seen it. The headlines would be huge. It's all anybody would talk about. He would certainly have a coaching advantage over, like, everyone in the ACC. I just can't imagine a world where Bill Belichick is giving up a chase for the most wins in NFL history in order to, like, go win the Duke's Mayo Bowl, right? I mean, like, to me, it just doesn't add up. It feels like a publicity stunt on both sides. Belichick letting everybody know he's back in, and then Carolina really getting the job out there after, a kind of a big-time job just not being discussed. I will say, I saw a report today. I don't want to give too much. I don't know the validity of it, but the idea that Belichick would come in and then his son Steve, who's a defensive coordinator at Washington, would be the coach in waiting, which is, I suppose, a little interesting.
Maybe. Let's snap back to reality and talk about stuff that's actually happening, and we can deal with Belichick to Carolina if something else materializes. The NFC West still very much up for grabs. The surging Seahawks here, they've won 3 straight. Now they're going to get Uchenna and Nwosu back from his second significant absence of the season. Missed the first 4 games with a sprained MCL. 20 plays later, landed on the IR with a quad injury. Now he's back, just as the Seahawks get ready to face second place Arizona. Will, we could have a 3-way tie atop the NFC West at the end of this weekend. Seattle seems to be picking up steam at just the right time. How much of a boon to the Seahawks defense is the return of Nwosu?
That's we got some real transactional Friday night news, right? But it is a big deal. I mean, and look, this Seahawks defense, the Seahawks started off so hot this year. They dealt with a lot of injuries. They gave up. They really became a sieve in the run game, and all of a sudden they bounced back in the last couple of weeks. They have been dynamic on defense, and they look like a real problem. The NFC West is fascinating. You mentioned it, Russ. A 3-way, possible tie up top, and it's not the Niners involved. That's insane. That Arizona, LA, and the Seahawks are all right there. And San Francisco's not out of it completely, but they pretty much have to run the table. Nwosu had 9.5 sacks just 2 years ago for the Seahawks. So this is a big deal. And when you think about the way that Mike Macdonald can deploy guys on the defense, move guys around, and just sort of send simulated pressures from various spots, I think that any sort of additional pass rush help really only boosts the Seahawks that much more. I mean, this is a team that I think people should be high on. Geno Smith playing good football. They haven't had like an explosive DK Metcalf game. And, you know, we'll see if the offense can kind of match what the defense has done. But really impressive bounce back after a little midseason skid from the Seahawks.
Yeah, look, all 4 teams in that NFC West still very much alive for a playoff spot. NFC South, it's a 2-team race. The Buccaneers, they're in the hunt for a playoff spot, hosting the Raiders Sunday. They'll have both Mike Evans and left tackle Tristan Wirfs in the lineup. Wirfs practiced on Friday for the first time this week. Running back Bucky Irving listed as questionable. He logged limited practice time. He's dealing with hip and back injuries. Will NFC South, I mean, we're looking at 2 teams right now. Bucs and Falcons up to their necks in mediocrity. Still head and shoulders above the Panthers and Saints. Tampa at least appears to be getting healthy. The Raiders are a team they should beat. What's your confidence level in the Bucs heading into the weekend?
Well, you know, I bet we have a graphic, and I don't want to put anybody on the spot here, but I saw it earlier in the week about Mike Evans and when he plays and when he doesn't play. And if we do have that graphic, we should toss it up right now because they're 6-3 when he plays and they're 0-3 when he doesn't play. Mike Evans is a big deal. He is a huge aspect of that offense. Bucky Irving's been tremendous too, by the way. I mean, just an unbelievable season for him. And I think as long as you get like, I think the Bucs, and I mean, I would feel this way. I assume the Bucs would. You let. If Bucky's got to sit, Bucky's got to sit. That you don't want to lose him. But Rachaad White and Sean Tucker can run the football. Mike Evans is the difference maker here because it gives Baker that alpha. And with all the injuries the Raiders have dealt with in the secondary, Evans, who is still in the hunt for that 1,000-yard season to keep his streak going, certainly could be in line for a possible explosion game. I think DFS purposes, maybe look at a little skinny stack with Brock Bowers and Mike Evans. Yeah, but these guys matter a ton. Particularly Evans. Interestingly enough, the Panthers would have only been 2 games back if they'd found a way to beat the Bucs. But I think Tampa right now, especially with Kirk Cousins going for that revenge game up in Minnesota, placing, not very mobile, playing a very blitz-heavy defense. Tampa could be looking at a spot with their schedule where they can kind of be in the catbird seat to win the NFC South once again. Yeah,
another pivotal weekend in the NFC South where 1 week to next week, we don't know who between those 2 teams will have the advantage. Probably will come down to
a tradition like no other. The NFC South winner being 1 game over 500.
Yeah, that's the way it goes, my man. Will Brinson from CBSSports.com. Will, thanks so much. Hey, you can catch the Bucs taking on the Raiders Sunday on CBS. Kickoff set for 1 p.m. Eastern at 4:05. Seattle and Arizona battling for first place in the NFC West. You can also stream your local game on Paramount Plus. Make sure to tune in right here to CBS Sports HQ. No matter where you're watching your games during the day, we got you covered for all your post-game highlights, reaction, and analysis.